नमस्ते, कैसे हैं आप सब लोग and welcome to this two-part, a short series, the one that we are doing on how to be a good nutritionist. Now first of all, हम लोग ने ये सीरीज़ चालू क्यों किया? तो हम लोग ने ये सीरीज़ इस रीज़न के लिए चालू किया क्योंकि a lot of people keep asking me a few things. Number one, do I run any course on people where people can learn how to become a nutritionist? Number two, what should they study if they are planning to become a nutritionist? And number three, they don't have a science background, so can they still become a nutritionist? So I'm going to try and answer these basic questions first, and then I'm also going to be answering any questions that you may have. All right. Number one, for all those of you who want to become a nutritionist, the first thing that you need to ask yourself is, why do you want to become a nutritionist? Do you want to become a nutritionist because you think कि अभी आजकल ये profession में बहुत सारा पैसा आया है, or you feel that I want to become a nutritionist because I have had great success with my own weight loss, or you want to become a nutritionist because you feel that oh, this profession is like full of glam, or you feel that this is a light profession to be in. So first of all, let me tell you, Anupam ji, namaste, hello my dear, hello back. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. All right, coming back to the point. None of these things are actually true for the profession of being a nutritionist. It is going to require just as much hard work as any of the other hard professions require. It is not all glam. It is very much sweat and dust and grime like any other profession, and nor is it nor is it something which is going to give you instantaneous money like every other profession. And also what may have worked for you is not going to work for everyone else. So just because you have lost weight, you are not quite qualified to get everyone else to lose weight. So to put it very simply, if your heart is in food, if you like food, if you like interacting with people, if you like to be in a role where people can actually come to you and tell you everything that's going wrong in their life, or where they can talk to you about their confusions without you being in a judgmental place, and if you're willing to work hard, and if you're willing to keep your head down, and if you're willing to wait till money comes, like any other profession, it will take at least about 5 or 8 years for money to actually start coming. Sometimes it takes much longer than that. Then I think it's a good profession to be in. और वो क्या कहते हैं कि जहाँ जहाँ पे भी मोहब्बत होती है, wherever you like what you're actually doing, everything else just flows. The effort just flows, the sweat just flows, and the money also will just flow. Success will also come. So it is a good profession to be in. I mean, I love what I do. So for all of you who want to be in here, just be sure about why you're coming, and know that it is still going to need hard work, dedication. There is no instantaneous money, there is no instantaneous glam. There is, and it, like all good things, this profession is also going to take time for you to settle in. So that's the first thing. Now second thing is that what kind of qualifications do we look at when we work with people? So purely in terms of qualification, everyone that I work with is a master's in clinical dietetics or has a MSc in one of the food and nutrition subjects. All right. Purely in terms of qualification, that's exactly what we look out for. But because it is such a people-oriented profession, it is much more than just your qualifications. So the human values that they bring in, human values of attention, compassion, the ability to unlearn and learn, those matter much more than just their technical qualifications. So that's really what one is looking at. In my team, of course, everyone has a master's, but if you haven't pursued that route, or if you haven't really even gone the science way, I do hope that in the future in India we are able to unfortunately हम लोग हमारा मोबाइल नंबर क्या बोलते हैं उसको पोर्टेबल हो गया है, एक जगह से दूसरे जगह पे हम लोग जा सकते हैं, लेकिन हम लोग ने हमारे स्टडी स्ट्रीम्स इतने स्ट्रिक्ट और इतने थिक कर दिए हैं दैट वी कांट रियली मूव फ्रॉम आर्ट्स टू साइंस टू कॉमर्स, और वी कांट रियली डू एनीथिंग विच इज़ लाइक अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ अ मिक्स ऑफ all of these professions, all of these subjects. So I do hope that eventually 5 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later, we are there. But in the meantime, if you haven't done any of these things, you should be looking at the courses that IGNOU offers, which is the Indira Gandhi National Open University. They do offer courses on food science, on nutrition, and their syllabus is quite thorough. Their assessment is quite thorough. So that is something that you could look at, and that is something that you can do at any age, at any time, irrespective of the stream that you studied in. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to tell you about the very, very basics of getting into this kind of a profession. Now, a lot of you often wonder कि मैं लॉयर हूँ या मैं डॉक्टर हूँ या मैं सीए हूँ और मेरे जॉब से मैं थक गई हूँ, अभी मेरे को कुछ लाइट करने का है, इसलिए मैं न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट बन जाती हूँ. तो इधर लाइट कुछ नहीं है बॉस. कोई भी प्रोफेशन में कुछ भी लाइट नहीं है, उतना ही रगड़ना पड़ेगा जितने कि आप आपके करंट प्रोफेशन में रगड़ रहे हो. लेकिन यही है दैट अगर अभी आपको इसमें इंटरेस्ट आ गया है, बिकॉज अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स अनफॉर्चुनेटली इन इंडिया वी डू लैंड अप हैविंग करियर्स बेस्ड ऑन द मार्क्स दैट वी गॉट इन 10th and 12th, एंड बेस्ड ऑन मेरा नेबर क्या बोल रहा है, मेरी चाची क्या बोल रही है, मेरी बेस्ट फ्रेंड ने कौन सा स्ट्रीम लिया, मेरा बॉयफ्रेंड ने कौन सा ऑफिस ज्वाइन किया. हम लोग इनवेरिएबली वैसे ही करियर्स पिकअप कर लेते हैं, स्ट्रीम्स पिकअप कर लेते हैं, कुछ सालों के बाद में थक जाते हैं. At that point, when you do have the opportunity to do this number portability के तरह career portability, don't think that this is going to be light or easy. You could be a 30-year-old, you could be a 40-year-old, you could be a 50 or a 60-year-old, you could have your last salary slip could be a few lakhs of rupees because of the profession that you were in. But when you start in a new profession, you always start from scratch, you always start new, you always start for the lack of better words, as at zero. And zero is not such a bad place to start at. Zero is also something that India's gift to the entire world. Shunyata is a wonderful place to be at. This is for all of you who are trying to do portability. Now, for all of you who are actually coming out of streams of I'm a master's in clinical nutrition, I'm a master's in food and dietetics and nutrition is technology, I have gotten an A in sports science and nutrition and whatever. You are all also, when you do start out, you're starting out on zero. It's very important that you understand that. In most other professions, people do understand that when their education gets over and when they start working, they start on a zero. That certification means nothing. It essentially means that you have been trained to do certain things, and hopefully people that you start working with have an assurance that you do have a little bit of basics. What kind of basics in place? The kind of basics that empower you to start from zero and to learn everything on the job. In nutrition science too, like in every other profession, you will notice that a lot of things that you learned in your college aren't really applicable in real life. Especially when you're working with clients across India, or especially when you're also working with a global audience with Indian heritage. We are a country, we are a society with diverse eating habits, and obviously because of the way our syllabus is designed, it doesn't quite capture every community's eating habits. Unfortunately, there is also industry influence in our colleges. Anyone who's been to a nutrition dietetics college does understand and does know that a lot of competitions and sponsorships come from the food industry. So we'll end up becoming better spokespersons for our food industry versus becoming better spokespersons for the farmers and the grandmothers who are actually the holders of our wisdom. So whether you have a degree, whether you don't have a degree, you're essentially starting on zero, and you're going to be learning from the people that you work with, but most importantly, you're going to be learning from your clients. So know that your clients are not someone that you are going to give advice to, but your clients are actually people that you are going to learn from. So when I was saying that, I do work with, like, my team has people who have done their masters, but I said that we actually pick people based on the human values that they bring it. So what exactly are the human values that we are looking at? Now, this is important whether you're doing portability into this profession or whether you have a degree. So the number one human value that one is looking at is your ability to listen and to pay attention. Now, what's the one thing that I have seen in in my practice? Most of you do know that I started working in somewhere in 1999. That's where I completed my PG in sports science and nutrition. And for a large period of my life, I worked on my own. The first time I actually worked with someone else is in 2009 or in 2010. Okay, so it took me a good 10 years to actually have another team member, other than just me. So at least 10-11 साल का journey रहा है ये. Of course, the profession has changed. Now you can see a much more accelerated growth than maybe someone like I saw. But again, coming back to the human value, this is what I was saying. So the people that I started working with, and every 5 years, the one thing that I have seen is that because of so much influence of social media, our ability to actually listen when people talk to us in real life is kind of going down. Our attention span is also kind of going down. But you are not, you're not in a career which allows you the luxury of a short attention span. You are in a profession where you have to pay attention to everything that your client is saying, also to everything that your client chooses to not say, also to the pauses that your clients will have in their sentences. Why do you need to pay attention? Why is the first core human value that you need is the ability to listen and to pay attention? Because food is the most intimate part of our being. When people talk to you about food, when people talk to you about their bodies, they are actually talking to you about the most intimate aspect of their lives. They need to know and they need to have that assurance that someone is going to honor and respect the fact that they are sharing intimate aspect of their life. They should feel safe in sharing. They should not feel judged. They should not feel that you're distracted. They should not feel that you're going to judge them, because you're going to be working with people who have kind of learned to second guess every decision that they make in their life, especially regarding food. These are people who actually think that they have done something wrong because of which they are out of shape or have a health issue, versus really, and it's going to be your job to educate them and to tell them that it's not their fault that they got fat. Maybe they were just misinformed or their approach was wrong. There's nothing wrong with them. There's maybe just the approach needs a little bit of restructuring. Now, for them to listen to you, you have to earn their respect, and you have to earn their trust. And the way to do that is, like I said, to pay attention and to really listen, to not be distracted, to not be judgmental, and to not be disrespectful of what they're saying. So that's the first core human value that you need to develop. How do you develop that core value? When you're in boring conversations, sometimes your mother is talking to you, or your grandmother is talking to you, or some neighbor is talking to you, and if you're really bored, you don't want to listen to them, and you want to check what's the latest thing on social media, or you just want to look elsewhere, or you just want to scratch your head. If you want to be in this profession, this is what I want you to do. I want you to listen very closely to everything that they're saying. And when you begin to listen very closely to what they're saying, even the boring stuff that they're saying, you will discover that over a period of time, because they are now assured that the listening quality is great, they start telling you more interesting things. So start doing this for yourself in real life, so that you're able to translate this into into your profession. So that's the first core value that I'm looking at, and my first step as to what can you learn in real life, how do you translate that into your profession. What's the second thing that one needs? Okay, now again, the second thing is actually related to the first thing, but the second thing that you will need to make a mark in this career is to ensure that they have more confidence in the food that they're actually eating at home. So now this is where everything that you have learned in your courses comes to your use. Learn from what they're eating at home, learn from what is getting cooked in their home, and try to learn how every community actually has its own unique nutrient compositions, and unlearn that your job is to give everyone one standardized diet plan and disrespect the food heritage that they come from. So learn more from your clients' mothers and grandmothers' recipes and eating patterns, and then tell them how these could be, how these are nutritious, and then you can put them at the time that you want them to eat them, or inform them about how these practices could be good for them during the change of season, or when they have a flu, or during their periods, or whatever else that it is. But please learn from use your clients' food heritage and don't convert them. Now, the human value that we are looking at for, when we are talking about how to use your clients' food heritage and how to not convert them into what you eat as a person, or whatever is the latest trend on the internet. Okay? Now, to do that, what we are looking at, the core value, is confidence. You have to have the confidence that just because your client eats like the way they have always been eating, you don't become a poorer professional. You become a richer professional. You actually have people who can go back to the way they used to eat. You will be nurturing families who are not eating differently from each other. You're not straining the caregiver of the client that you're working with, so that they are making different food for them just so that उनका blood sugar regulate हो जाए, या blood pressure regulate हो जाए, या उनका वजन कम हो जाए, या उनको रात को नींद अच्छी आ जाए, या whatever else. So you have to work with your clients' food heritage. For that, you have to have the confidence to not convert them, and to listen to them, and to bring them back into the loop of their own diet. And the third thing, the third human value that we are looking at is really to, I won't be able to work with all of you, but this is just something that I'm sharing because I think that this is useful for everyone who's trying to be on this path of becoming a nutritionist, is to constantly stay. So that's the third human value that we are looking at, is to constantly be in the loop of, be updated on on your number one, on the basics. Because what happens is that as you go into the third year of your work or fifth year of your work or 10th year of your work, you actually begin to think कि अभी मेरे को सब कुछ आता है, अभी मेरे को कुछ भी सीखने का ज़रूरत नहीं है. But you still need to go back to your basics and learn basics like 1 ग्राम कार्बोहाइड्रेट का कितना कैलोरी होता है, बाजरा में कितना आयरन होता है, ऑक्सलेट कौन से फूड में आता है, फाइटिक एसिड कौन से फूड में आता है. सो गो बैक टू री लर्निंग योर बेसिक्स एंड देन ऑल्सो वॉच आउट फॉर ऑल ऑफ द ट्रेंड्स that are coming, so that you are able to inform your client to not fall prey to the latest trend and to keep them in the whole route of eating more in a in a simpler manner, in a more sustainable manner, and in a manner where they can actually enjoy the food that they're eating. To give you a small example, everyone knows that millets are healthy, okay? Everyone knows that, and there are, if you go back to your basics, if you learned in your school, in your dietetic school, or even in the course that you did when you are doing your career portability, all about millets, then of course you will learn that they are healthy, that they are mineral rich, that they have amino acids, they just have plenty of things. But when you go back to your basics, you will also learn what are the traditional combinations of recipes in which millets actually work. So you will learn that bajra should be complemented with jaggery and honey, with jaggery and ghee. You will learn that ragi goes well with milk or even with chas. You will learn that jawar bhakri can be eaten in summers. And then if you keep an eye out on the trend, then you will realize that how millets are now being turned into a biscuit, or maybe how they're being turned into a noodle, or how they're being turned into a pizza. And at that time, you can inform your clients that while millets are very healthy, the only way that you can actually digest, absorb, assimilate, and even excrete millets properly without getting bloated, without feeling dull, without feeling whatever, is when you're respectful of the traditional combinations that they come in. If you start doing this thing by, just because millet is healthy, if you convert it into every latest trend, उसी का cupcake बना दिया, उसी का pizza बना दिया, उसी का nacho बना दिया, उसी का noodle बना दिया, उसी का pasta बना दिया, then it is not going to sit in your stomach properly. So you could be eating a thing which is quite nutritious and even delicious, but because it's not coming in the right combination, it can lead to gas, bloating, acidity, and the anti-nutrients can then interfere with nutrient assimilation. So this is really the very basic of what I wanted to share with you today, and tomorrow we'll do a part 2. If you have it, if there are any areas that you would like me to highlight on, then please just leave me a message or leave that in your comment, and I'll try and cover that. And for now, what I will do is quickly look at the comments that you have and maybe answer a couple of questions. All right, but thank you very much for staying tuned in and for hearing me out. It was great connecting with you. So for everyone who's telling me that love you a lot, I love you back too just as much. Thank you very, very much. It's your love, it's your encouragement that really fills my heart and keeps me going. So thank you very much. Okay. As nutritionists, we are constantly being judged by our health and by our bodies. I mean, imagine if as a nutritionist you feel judged for your body, imagine what your clients must be going through. Now, here are a few things, okay? Good health comes in every size, in every shape, at every weight, in every color, to every gender, and on different people, it looks different things. One of the things that is going to, your job, one of the things that it's really going to involve is to help people understand that good health is not a standard size and shape. Good health is having high levels of energy in the morning. It is having good hunger and satiety signals. It is about having clear bowel movement. It is about sleeping well in the night. It's about having proper exercise compliance. It is about having smooth periods every month. And it is really about also having the confidence to khao gali. Okay, now that we are living in the world that we live in, and again, living in the world where there is also social media, as a nutritionist, when you are doing your work, if you feel that you're being judged by your body, know in your heart whether or not you are doing well on your health parameters. Also acknowledge in your heart that all of us are constantly a work in progress. We we are constantly, so each one of us, whether we are a nutritionist or not, we are all always trying to stay healthy, and that's a process. No one needs to look at you today and make any kind of a judgment. And thirdly, if people do make a judgment about you, if people do call you fat, if people do call you old, if people call you whatever else that they call you, know that it's a bigger reflection on their state of mind than what you actually look like. Because in your profession, you will have the privilege of working with girls who are just 56 kilos, who think that they're extremely fat. You will also work with people who are just 49 kilos and they feel that they're extremely fat. You'll also work with people who are 120 kilos and they are also feeling extremely fat. So you will discover that health is more a state of mind than anything else. And unfortunately, the only way that the weight loss industry works is by making everyone feel that they're out of shape, that they're fat, and that somehow if they lost 5 kilos or 2 kilos or 20 kilos, then they're going to get prettier or happier, or they're going to have more confidence or more acceptance or whatever else. So as a nutritionist, if you're being judged for your body, number one, know it's an occupational hazard. Number two, take it in your stride. Number three, this profession will bring you both criticism and appreciation. It's your job to ignore both, to keep your head down and to do the work that you signed up to do. So that's what you need to do. I have many other questions like sweet cravings, hair and stuff, but I'm just taking questions today which are related to the topic that we discussed, and everything else that you guys are asking, migraine and loose motions and stuff, that will cover at some other time. Okay, my father's not letting me be a dietitian. All right, see, here's the thing, that you can't wait for anyone to endorse your career choice. When you make a choice, you have to know that you have to be wholeheartedly accepting the consequences that come with that choice. No one needs to approve of your choice, whether it is your father or mother or brother or sister or whatever. You have to approve of your choice. As long as you are approving your choice, everything else is fine. Sometimes, our parents have our best interest in their hearts, but sometimes they are unable to understand that something may work out for you in the long run. So they are fearful that it may not quite work out for you very well, and therefore they start giving you other options of careers that you should be looking at. At that time, instead of judging them, just kind of understand their perspective, know where they're coming from, and take full responsibility for your choice. Once you pursue your career with a complete buy-in, there is a good chance that your parents will begin to see why you are so passionate and how you enjoy your work, and they'll begin to support your decision. But you should give them time to come around. 2-3 साल maximum लगेंगे, but they will come around. Okay, so You don't give up on your career because someone else doesn't approve of your choice right now, because then later you will resent them, and you don't want to be resenting anyone that you're close to. Okay, and the one last question is that I have seen people mocking others when they share details. Yes, so that should not happen. Sometimes you may end up working with a senior who is mocking people, you know, when they're sharing details, and that is not something that you should pick up on or you should learn. Anytime that you are working with someone, you should learn the good from them and leave out the bad from them, you know. So don't allow that to translate into your career. You're an adult, you can make your choices, and you can you know, make your own path in how you're going to be consulting people. All right, that's all from me then for today, and thank you very much for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, bye bye and good night.